Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Nabiyyina Muhammad. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentions three matters with regards to sinfulness and wickedness and how that evil corrupts us. He says, the servant is required to look at three matters regarding the sin. Being stripped from the shelter when he committed, meaning you feel safety when you're doing the sin for a minute. Feeling happy while doing it. Obviously, we do sins because of pleasure you find, whether that's a physical pleasure, whether it's a mental pleasure, whatever, psychological pleasure, and showing indifference from making amends, meaning making tawbah, while he knows for sure that Allah, the all-truthful, the al-haq, is watching him. If he is deprived of the protection of Allah, it means that he has neglected taking resort in him, meaning seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If he had resorted to Allah, he would not have gone out of guidance to disobedience. Allah the Most High states, whoever holds fast to Allah will be guided to the straight path. All of us want the straight path. All of us want to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of us need to come back to Allah azza wa jal. All of us desire to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we have to make steps. We have to make effort. We have to strive to put a barrier between ourselves and the sins. Because sins, we do the sins because there's pleasure in them. But how do we fight those sins? How do we get rid of those sins? Because we find a refuge in the sins. We need to find refuge in Allah and in obedience to Allah, and Allah will increase you in good if you leave those sins. He will give you, if you're struggling and you're doing pornography, fornication, masturbation, and all of these things because you're not married, Allah will replace that, but you've got to make the steps. And if you're doing haram, getting riba and interest and stuff like this because you don't have a halal means, you're going to have to make the sacrifice. Leave off the disobedient haram earnings and come back to Allah and earn halal. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Almighty to accept our good and forgive our evil, to protect us all, preserve us all, cure us all, rectify our condition and affairs. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all in all of our affairs, increase our rizq, rectify our condition and affairs, help us to be better slaves of His, and bless us all to be of the tawabin. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.